Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Fundy Motorsports Magazine on Cable 10. I'm your host Dave Hanlon, and on tonight's show we've got some great motocross action sponsored by the St. John Competition Motorcycle Club. Now, as you can see in the picture behind me, there is lots of action that happened out at Hammond River Raceway not too long ago. So right now we're going to throw it to our announcer at Hammond River Raceway for the 125cc second moto. Here's Larry McCaw.
25 class all combined. That means novices, intermediates, and pros. Novices wear red numbers on white plates, and they include the 101 of Larry Killam of Petty-Kodiak, New Brunswick. The number 469 is piloted by Michael Banks of Centerville. It is a senior or an intermediate plate, but that's a novice bike. The 76 is Tim Branscombe from Petty-Kodiak, the rider to watch. 22 is Vince McClellan from Truro, Nova Scotia on a Suzuki. The 727, Dougie McDonald, took a win in the first moto on his product finder Suzuki. Martin LeBlanc of Dieppe rides the number 78 Honda. And the number 75 rookie is Terry McCormick from Cornwall PEI. The rider to watch overall here, the number 111 Pro bike of St. John's own Brian Dwaron, riding for St. John Suzuki. We have a start. Dwaron's only competition in this one comes from the number 100 machine of Ian Mullins of Moncton, riding with a dislocated thumb. So don't expect lots from the number 100 machine. In fact, he may not even be out on the track this time around. Dwaron, the number 111 on the pro bike, out in front of the field. In behind him, your intermediate leader, the number 10 of Mike McDonald of Amherst, Nova Scotia. Behind them, the novice leader, the number 76 of Tim Branscombe of Petty-Kodiak, New Brunswick. Then the 169 of your second place intermediate, Jeremy Landry of Salisbury. Second place novice ride right now being held down by the number 22 Vince McClellan of Truro, and the number 727 of dragster Doug McDonald of Amherst, Nova Scotia runs in third spot right now. Larry Killam of Petty-Kodiak, the back marker at the back of the field on the number 101. Your leader, the number 111, as they head down into the back set, the St. John Suzuki of Brian Dwaron. His only competition in the 125 Pro class from Ian Mullins of Moncton, and Mullins, the DNS this time around, did not start due to a dislocated thumb and torn ligaments. Down the back straight, the number 111 all alone and stretching away from the rest of the field as the Brian Dwaron fan club goes insane here. He comes through the chicane and up onto the front straight, and at the double jump, down on the downslope, and the stopwatch running on your leader. In behind him, a battle in the intermediate class, the number 10 of Mike McDonald being challenged by Jeremy Landry, who almost goes over the bars on the number 169 machine. Side by side through the hairpin, heading for the finish line. McDonald on the number 10 Suzuki continues to hold on to it. The Honda of Landry in behind him. And then the number 76 of Tim Branscombe, your novice leader. The 22 behind him is Vince McClellan of Truro on a Suzuki, followed by a second Suzuki, the 727 of Doug McDonald from Amherst. Back behind McDonald, the number 469, a borrowed machine. That's Mike Banks from Centerville, New Brunswick. And he is duking it out right now with Dieppe, New Brunswick's 78, Martin LeBlanc. Continuing to lead, the only pro in the field right now, the 111, Brian Dwaron, as he comes down the back straight and into the chicane that will bring him on to the front straight in front of the grandstands here at Hammond River Raceway. Stopwatch running now on the leader, turns that lap in 1:08.06. The number 10, your intermediate leader, Mike McDonald from Amherst. Jeremy Landry on a borrowed machine. The 169 bike sits second in the intermediates in a small two-man intermediate field. And then the number 76 high in the air over the finish line jump. Your novice leader. Good battle shaping up now for second place in the novices. The number 22 and the number 727 begin to go at each other. Vince McClellan, the Truro rider, on the number 22. The 727, Doug McDonald of Amherst on the product finder Suzuki. They disappear down into the back set now. Jeremy Landry manages to get by. The 169 machine pulls into the lead in the intermediate field as he sneaks by the number 10, and your leader is on to the front straight once again. The number 111 of Brian Dwaron, the St. John Suzuki-sponsored RM125. 17-year-old rider has a long career in front of him in professional motocross. Your intermediate war right now, the 169, Jeremy Landry on the borrowed machine. In control of the intermediate, the two-man intermediate. Oh, Landry takes a step off right there, buries the nose in the deep stuff on the outside of the berm and relinquishes the lead to the number 10 of Michael McDonald of Amherst. And now a whole bunch of novice riders in between McDonald and Landry. The 76 is Tim Branscombe of Petty-Kodiak leading the novices. The 22, Vince McClellan of Truro, runs in second. And back in third, the 727 Suzuki of dragster Doug McDonald. McDonald picking up a win in the first moto when his competition, the 76 of Tim Branscombe, lost it on the last lap. Your leader already back onto the front straight once again. Through the chicane he comes, the number 111. Brian Dwaron of St. John, following in the footsteps of his older brother Kevin, who was at one point in time arch rival to the winningest motocrosser in Atlantic region history, who is a rider you'll see later today riding the 127 machine, Glenn Hoare. Dwaron all alone. Let's see how far in front of the field he actually is as your intermediate leader comes through. Mike McDonald. Mike McDonald goes down. Novice Tim Branscombe, novice Vince McClellan, and novice Doug McDonald go through, and then Jeremy Landry takes over the lead in the intermediate field. And that double jump has been the point on the track where riders have gotten in trouble all weekend here, all day yesterday, and again today. Riders having a problem at the tail end of that double jump here on the front straight. Jeremy Landry takes over the lead in the intermediate class, and with the tiebreaker rule, the finish in the second moto is the tiebreaker, and if Landry can stay in that position, the 169 machine will take the win. Back around through the chicane and heading on to the front straight, your leader, the number 111, Brian Dwaron from St. John. No competition in the class. He rides alone as Ian Mullins has decided not to start this one due to a dislocated thumb and ligament damage in his hand, although he has raced 3 motos this weekend with that injury. So Dwaron on the St. John Suzuki-sponsored RM125 in control of this race, but all the real racing's happening in behind him as Tim Branscombe of Petty-Kodiak on the number 76 Honda clears the double and comes down the front straight, followed by the 22 of Truro's Vince McClellan. He's being reeled in by your intermediate class leader, the 169 of Jeremy Landry of Salisbury, New Brunswick. Behind Landry, who gets out into the weeds momentarily, is your third place novice, the 727 of dragster Doug McDonald, the product finder Suzuki out of Amherst. Behind McDonald physically on the course is your second place intermediate, the number 10 of brother Mike McDonald.
Right on the back fender.
Already around to complete another lap, your leader, 17-year-old Brian Dwaron, high in the air, takes a hand off the bars, and let's check a lap time. Can't be very motivating to be the only man all alone. Dwaron puts it down on the downslope of the finish line jump. And lots of aerial maneuvers here from the leader as he really doesn't have to worry about anyone reeling him in. On to the front straight once again, your novice class leader sitting in front of the intermediate class leader, the number 76 of Petty-Kodiak, New Brunswick's Tim Branscombe, followed by the 22 of Truro, Nova Scotia's Vince McClellan. Then your intermediate field leader, the 169 Salisbury's Jeremy Landry. Behind him, the 727 of your third place novice, dragster Doug McDonald. Landry almost goes over the bars there. And Mike McDonald on the number 10, the second place intermediate, beginning to reel him in. A side-by-side duel down the front straight here right now is Mike Banks on the 498 machine and the 101 of Larry Killam of Petty-Kodiak. And Michael Banks on a borrowed bike, working hard to stay with Killam on the Kawasaki. Dwaron continuing to lap in the 108 mark as he is all alone over the finish line jump. Over the step jump, your leader as the next rider on the track and the leader in the novice class, the 76 of Tim Branscombe. And there's a rider taking a step off. Jeremy Landry has lost first place now again in the intermediate field. Landry riding over his head, gets in some trouble, and to the front of the intermediate field goes the 10 of Mike McDonald of Amherst, Nova Scotia. Novice field still, the 76 of Tim Branscombe, the number 22 of Vince McClellan, and the number 727 of Doug McDonald of Amherst. Behind him, brother Mike McDonald, your intermediate field leader, rather, on the number 10 machine, and Jeremy Landry on number 169. High in the air over the double jumps, your leader, the number 111, Brian Doiron. St. John rider racing for St. John Suzuki. Gets the 2-lap signal from the finish line official as he comes up behind novice rider Martin LeBlanc of Dieppe on the number 78 machine. Going to put him down a lap. Branscombe, your novice leader, up onto the front straight now. The number 76 machine out to redeem himself after a bobble in the first moto that allowed Doug McDonald to take the win. Novice field still, 76, Tim Branscombe of Petitcodiac, 22, Vince McClellan out of Truro, Nova Scotia, and 727, the product finder Suzuki of Dougie McDonald of Amherst, Nova Scotia. Then your intermediate field leader, the number 10, Mike McDonald on a Suzuki. Jeremy Landry on the number 169 runs second in the intermediates. And Larry Killam on the novice bike begins to reel in Landry as Landry puts it down hard on the finish line tabletop. And once again over the double jump on the front straight, your leader, the number 111, Brian Doiron, 17-year-old out of St. John. Going to grab some big air here and put on a little show for you as he comes down on the downslope of the finish line jump. Doiron out to score a 125 class championship in the spring series, as may be this young man, the 76 of Petitcodiac, New Brunswick's Tim Branscombe, in the lead in the novice class, with Vince McClellan on the number 22 Suzuki trailing behind, and the number 727 Amherst's Doug McDonald, an identical Suzuki, back in third spot. Then your intermediate leader, the number 10 of Mike McDonald of Amherst. And all alone in second place in the intermediate field, the number 169 of Jeremy Landry of Salisbury. On to the front straight for the last time in this moto, the 111 high in the air. Brian Doiron from St. John on the St. John Suzuki RM125. He's going to pussyfoot towards the line here, do a little bit of an aerial show for you at the checkered flag. Little wave for the crowd. Brian Doiron grabs himself 15 points for the overall win on the day in the 125 Pro class. Rider behind him was a lap down, the number 78 Martin LeBlanc from Dieppe, New Brunswick. And coming up through the chicane and onto the front straight now, physically in second place on the track, should not be. He's a novice rider. He should be back there behind the intermediates, but nobody told him that. So the number 76, Petitcodiac, New Brunswick's Tim Branscombe, going to put it through for the win at the checkered flag. Behind him, the war to the line, the number 22, Vince McClellan, the 727 of Doug McDonald. McDonald goes for the outside line, can't make the pass stick. McClellan on the 22 grabs second spot. The 727 of Doug McDonald will finish third. Then your intermediate leader, the number 10, Mike McDonald from Amherst, brings his Suzuki home for the 15 points. Novice rider behind him, Larry Killam on the 101 out of Petitcodiac, New Brunswick. Michael Banks on the number 489 machine, a borrowed Honda, brings it in the novice class. And then through the hairpin for the last time this moto, the number 169 machine, another borrowed bike, Jeremy Landry at the checkered flag.
And now it's time for the Fundy Motorsports Magazine's calendar of events. Coming up very soon in St. John, New Brunswick, it's the Hog Rally, sponsored by the Harley Owners Group, July 4th, 5th, and 6th. The host hotel is going to be the Courtney Bay Inn. For reservations, you can call 657-3610. And for more information, call Stephen Levislew, St. John Director, at 674-1225. Also coming up, the Grand Bay Stomp 92, a big success last year with that. It's for the Children's Swiss Foundation of Canada. That's where all the proceeds are going to. It's July 10th, 11th, and 12th. There's going to be lots of stuff, refreshments, camping, wet t-shirt contest, bike NASCAR racing this Saturday night, or if you're watching the show this Saturday night, tonight, 7 p.m. with the Eastern Mini Stock Association accompanying the guys as well. And now it's back to Larry McCaw with the 500cc Open Class Motocross event at Hayman River Raceway.
Eldridge's Honda. The number 52 is Kimball Johnson from Summerside, PEI. He's Honda mounted and has faded in every moto so far today. The number 842, all the way from Orrington, Maine, is Jeff Emery. He's Kawasaki mounted, and the number 127 needs no introduction to Atlantic Region motocross fans. He's Glenn Hoare from Munson on a what must be termed a vintage Honda. And he's out to prove that you can take a 4-year-old machine and make it work for you. And there's a start. And probably Kimball Johnson out in front again. Boy, he does a great job getting off the line. Glenn Moore's right at the back of the field. Not that that matters a whole lot. Kimball Johnson through the chicane, heading for the front straight now for the first time. The number 52 machine out of Summerside, Prince Edward Island, followed by St. John, Steve Joyce. And out of Orrington, Maine, Jeff Emery on the Kawasaki. Joe Doucette, the Joe Show, number 63, rails around the outside here. In fourth spot, Glenn Moore 5th, Frank Campbell 6th. And watch for Glenn Hoare to let these guys up front wear themselves out for a while before he puts on any kind of major pressure, although he certainly doesn't want to get knocked off at this point in time. They go up into the back set now. Kimball Johnson continuing to hold on to the lead on the number 52 Honda out of Summerside, Prince Edward Island. St. John's own. Oh, Steve Joyce, as I say the name, down he goes. And taking over second place is Jeff Emery from Orrington, Maine on the Kawasaki, the number 842 machine. It is now Kimball Johnson, Emery, and Glenn Hoare up to third. Back to fourth is Joe Doucette on the number 63 Suzuki. Steve Joyce back up and running on the 131 machine, back in fifth. And Frank Campbell sits sixth on the number 129 Honda out of Munson. Kimball Johnson laps in 108.85 here. Glenn Hoare starts to move through traffic now as he tries to go around Jeff Emery of Orrington, Maine. Pro rider on the number 842 machine. Riding with the Friend and Friend team. Over the step jump, the top three riders go. Joe Doucette hangs with them on the number 63 machine. Nobody crashes harder or races harder than Joe Doucette, without question. Kimball Johnson, number 52, CR250 Honda in the lead, getting some pressure now from Orrington, Maine's Jeff Emery on the 842 Kawasaki. Glenn Hoare content to sit and run back in third spot right now and let these guys wear themselves down at the front of the field. They come over the hill and into the chicane that'll pull them onto the front straight. And a battle at the back now. Joe Doucette and Steve Joyce go at each other. Joyce got the rear wheel a little high there. Almost trouble. And look at Emery. Jeff Emery on the Kawasaki, the U.S. rider, really putting some pressure on Kimball Johnson now. Every time Johnson swings to one side of the track, Emery goes to the other. And Glenn Hoare just hangs on to them from third spot as they go over the step jump. The Eldridge's Honda of Steve Joyce, the number 131 machine, up to fourth now, and taking a whole face full of rooster tail from the top three riders over the step jump. Frank Campbell at the very rear of the pack on the 129 machine, obviously having problems. Actually, he's riding like he's hurt. Still, Johnson, Emery, Hoare, 1, 2, and 3. Whoops, Not anymore. Glenn Hoare moves to the inside and takes over second spot. Not for long, though. Jeff Emery goes back by, and now Emery pours on the coals and goes by Kimball Johnston at the front of the field. And the U.S. rider on the 842 Kawasaki from Orrington, Maine. Jeff Emery takes over the lead. Glenn Hoare moves to second. Steve Joyce up to third as he goes around Kimball Johnston. And did I say Kimball faded? Well, he did this time. Front straight getting very rough here at the landing point as they come down off the double jump. Jeff Emery pulls the front wheel up in the air. All the riders high and on the downslope at the finish line jump. The Kawasaki of the U.S. rider, Jeff Emery leading. Glenn Hoare, number 127 in second place. Number 131, the Eldridge Honda of Steve Joyce from St. John back in third. Kimball Johnston fading early on the number 52 machine back to fourth. And Joey Doucette, the Joe Show, the number 63 Suzuki, back in fifth and looking to move around. Your leader onto the front straight, the Kawasaki of Jeff Emery of Orrington, Maine. Glenn Hoare will let him pace the race for a while. Moves around the inside. Steve Joyce continues to run third. A 107.41 lap from Jeff Emery on his KX250 Kawasaki. A 131 of Steve Joyce back in third. Fourth is Kimball Johnston on number 52. Fifth, Endo Joe Doucette, number 63, and the Sherwood Prince Edward Island on the Suzuki. Glenn Hoare around the outside of Jeff Emery to take over the lead. Emery back by now on the first of the two back straights. Basically playing with each other here as they come through what is turn one off the start line and up into the back straight. Now Steve Joyce has a chain laying on the ground here. And the race up front, Jeff Emery continues to hold on to it, the number 842 KX250 out of Orrington, Maine. Glenn Hoare right beside him, the number 127 machine. And I may sound like a stock record, but he never races harder than he has to. Around the inside, Emery around the outside, and both riders trusting each other. Again, side by side, now Hoare goes around and pulls out into the lead, and it's no looking back from here. They go over the step jump. Glenn Hoare on the 127 machine, look for some quick lap times now as the Moncton rider comes back out of retirement on a piece of equipment he had laying around the basement. Decided to polish it up and tune the shock and come out to play. Certainly not as serious about it as he once was when he was ranked fifth in the country, or when he won the Florida Winter Series or any other major accomplishments. Glenn Hoare, a New Brunswick Sports Wall of Fame inductee. He was inducted in a ceremony here just a month and a half ago or so. Makes him the first professional motorsports personality inducted into the Sports Wall of Fame. Glenn Hoare, number 127, in the lead now. Jeff Emery out of Orrington, Maine, in second spot on the KX250. And the Joe Show, high in the air, number 63. Sherwood PEI's Joe Doucette on his Suzuki back in third. Fourth still held down by a very slow-running Kimball Johnston on the number 52 CR250 Honda. And behind him, Frank Campbell actually reeling him in now. Campbell high in the air over the finish line. Jump. Steve Joyce sits dejectedly off the trackside right there on the 131 Eldridge Honda. Blown drive chain took away his hopes of any kind of cash here in the Open Pro class. Through the left-hander and heading for the rise that takes him into the chicane. The leader, number 127, Glenn Hoare. Behind him, the Kawasaki KX250 of Jeff Emery of Orrington, Maine. And a reasonably slow lap, a 107 lap for Glenn Hoare. He's certainly not making tracks like he did earlier when he pulled off 103 laps. Forward by that RM250 as he comes down at the tail end of the jump, and he doesn't miss a beat. He is a caveman.
Here's a race in the back of the field now as Frank Campbell tries to reel in the number 52 of Kimball Johnston. Johnston runs wide around the hairpin, Campbell on the inside. 52 versus 129, a pair of CR 250 Hondas. Boy, Joe Doucette, like I say, nobody races harder, nobody crashes harder. He went down, the bike slammed him in the back, and without missing a beat or stalling the motor, he's back up and running once again and continuing to ride in third spot. Good battle at the back of the pack between fourth and fifth. The number 52 of Kimball Johnston and the number 129 of Frank Campbell. Frank Campbell looking to salvage something out of this as your leaders come back now into the chicane, heading for the front straight. Glenn Hoare, number 127. Along at the front, Jeff Emery almost lost it there. The 842 rider out of Orrington, Maine, got a little too much sky off the double jump and got pretty wide-eyed through that one. A little bit of everything this weekend. We've had some serious handlebar slamming roller derby style. We've had some incredible racing. Riders coming from the rear of the pack to the front of the pack. Some major bailouts. And now Jeff Emery takes a step off at the rise that brings him onto the front straight. Glenn Hoare rolls a 106.23 lap. And Jeff Emery picks it back up and gets going in second spot. The last lap card is out for Glenn Hoare. Jeff Emery continues to run second after a get-off. The 842 Orrington, Maine-based rider has Joe Doucette in behind him, and Joey Doucette maybe was looking at second place there momentarily after his major get-off. Now he may still be looking for it. The last lap could be his. Doucette at the step jump. Doucette trying him now on the inside, closes the door. Joe Doucette takes over second spot. And all of a sudden, the St. John crowd here at Hammond River Raceway is with him. Orrington rider Jeff Emery goes back by, and then Doucette steals it away yet again. A major splashdown for Joe Doucette, and yet he comes back to move up to second spot. Yesterday, he did it to take a win. And just absolutely amazing to watch him go. Kimball Johnston has taken back fourth spot here now. A little bit of adrenaline when Frank Campbell came by him. Up in the chicane for the last time, your leader, the number 127, Glenn Hoare from Moncton. The winningest rider in Atlantic Region motocross history takes yet another 15 points. Give him the big cross up here, Glenn. Yes, sir. Puts it down on the downslope. Joe Doucette, number 63. He'll be so happy with a second place after his big splashdown. He should get a big cross up from him, too. And from Jeff Emery, and that's the way they finish 1, 2, and 3. Entertaining action.
Well, hopefully you enjoyed tonight's show. A lot of great motocross action, and we updated you on the latest motorsports events in St. John with our Fundy Motorsports magazine calendar of events. And as we leave you tonight, we're going to give you the final results of the June 28th motocross competition held at Hammond River Raceway. What you just seen, we're going to give you the final results of that whole thing. On behalf of producer Don Ferguson, I'm Dave Hanlon for Fundy Motorsports magazine at Cable 10. Keep motoring.